The International Day for Raising Awareness of Epilepsy is the 26th of March. Epilepsy is a condition that can affect anyone, and the prevalence increases with age. In 2010, around 3 per thousand were affected in the age bracket of under 16, but 12 per thousand were affected in the over 65s. People with the condition can often feel isolated, but since November, a group has been set up in Fareham to support them and their families. Joining us in the studio now to tell us more is the coordinator of the group, Hugh Sach, who himself has epilepsy. Hugh, thanks so much for coming out. So if I can just first of all ask you, how does the epilepsy affect you?
It tends to really just make me very tired. The seizures I have are unfortunately uncontrolled at the moment, and obviously we're trying to sort that out. What really happens for me is I fall over when I have a seizure. It sometimes lasts seconds, maybe up to a minute or two, but I do tend to get tired afterwards, and the medication I take is the big thing that makes me very tired. Sometimes I can sort of sleep up to 12, 13 hours in a 24-hour period. It's sleeps here and there, and obviously a good night's sleep as well.
Wow, and have you always had epilepsy, or is it something that developed later on?
Since I was 12, I've had epilepsy, so 28 years now, 26 years.
Wow, so quite a long time, but you didn't kind of always have it, as it were.
No.
And do you have any idea why it's affected you?
No, there was no sort of real known reason for a trigger as to why it suddenly started with me, and it's just something that developed when I was 12 years old, and obviously had a tough time in school through it, but came through it, and here I am.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like it, has quite a big impact on your life if you're needing to kind of rest a lot and sleep a lot and take this medication. Do you have a job? How do you kind of manage to exist and have a life that's like everyone else's?
I don't have a job at the moment. My specialist 6 years ago sort of said, enough's enough. You can't do this with the sleeping patterns and everything like that. And sudden need for sleep. If you're working as well, it sort of makes you even more tired. I would imagine. I did try many years ago, just after I'd finished uni, to hold down a job, but I was falling asleep by lunchtime. So they sort of said, as a trial run, that it wasn't working, and I fully understood that. That was, fair enough on that.
So you're kind of starting to get a picture now of why you might need a support group, because a lot of people kind of go to work and find support through colleagues and that kind of way. But, possibly if you're not kind of involved in that, then you might need that. So tell us a bit about why you decided to set up this group.
Well, I think, epilepsy isn't known about as much as it should be, in my personal opinion. And, I think the more groups out there that can support each other, the better it is, whether it's sort of, one per area or there's another one in another area because the group's too big, the number doesn't matter. I think, the more groups there are, the more that can be learnt about it. And, the group we have is not just for people with epilepsy, it can be for carers or family members. If your children have epilepsy, it is more common in children and elderly people as well. And, their parents can come along and learn more about it, really, in our group.
And what have you gained since the group kind of started up?
I think I've gained a bit of confidence in myself as well, sort of knowing that I can actually achieve something. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I think the confidence level wasn't quite there. I've had a lot of help with the group as well, and which has been fantastic. And getting it off the ground has really boosted me. Unfortunately, my seizures haven't actually really improved much since, but then that's something I have to deal with, and I deal with it as best I can. And in a way, that's what the group's there for. I might be the coordinator, I might be the one who sort of helped set it up, but I'm just as much a member as everyone else. I'm not sort of someone special in there. It's not, it's me and them. It's all of us in together. We're all, fighting together.
And you said, it's something you have to deal with. How do you deal with it?
I think over the years I've sort of become immune to sort of how you deal with it. It's sort of like an everyday life thing. I sort of try and rest as much as I can. If I'm not doing anything or trying to sit down, as you know, I say my particular type of epilepsy, and this is not all types. There are actually over 40 different types of epilepsy.
Wow.
But my type, I fall over. So best thing for me to do is to sort of stay seated, because then if I do have a seizure, I'll just sort of fall back into the chair further, and I won't actually hurt myself. And that's sort of, I think, the biggest worry that I have is one of these days I'm going to fall over, and I'm, while these days I can sort of say ow and get back up again, there might be a time that comes I'll fall and I won't be able to get back up, and that's probably the biggest scare for me.
A long-term scare.
Yeah.
And you're wearing a rather dashing purple shirt today, which, by the way, goes lovely, with our background.
Yes, I suppose it does.
Tell me a bit about that.
Yes, I'm wearing purple because tomorrow is National Epilepsy Awareness Day, also known as Purple Day, which is the colour for epilepsy. And that's something else that people, I think, need to know about. Various disabilities quite rightly have their weeks, days, months, to sort of spread awareness. And, not many people know that, epilepsy is Purple Day. It's the 26th of March. And I was just talking to my parents a couple of days ago, and I think my mum said that she wasn't aware. And, so she's obviously had to deal with it.
Your own mum can't know.
Well, I think that's what she said. She wouldn't have known if it wasn't for me, I think, perhaps. But I think they might be watching, so I might get in trouble for this. But no, I mean,
Sorry,
it's something that needs to be made aware, I think, more of, because people tend to think of epilepsy as something that's, oh, well, it doesn't affect me. It's scary, and so let's leave it there. And that's not how it should be. It's not how any disability should be approached at all. And, I would always welcome any kind of change with that.
Hugh, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about it, and good luck with your group.
Thanks. Thank you very much.